your voice be heard. Tune into Vikings Fan Line following every Vikings game, presented by Verizon. Listen in right here on KFAN and anywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
I'm always interested in the Vikings injury report. I wish there were no injuries to report. Maybe there aren't. Is it a blank slate, or do we have some injuries to report? Soon to be world champion Minnesota Vikings will travel to Los Angeles. They will take on the Rams tomorrow. You'll hear that game on this radio station. Thursday Night Football pregame at 5, opening kickoff at 7:15. What do we have?
One player has been designated as out. That would be linebacker Blake Cashman.
Okay.
He will miss the game. Listed as questionable, Caleb Evans, TJ Hawkinson, and Dalton Reisner. Obviously, Hawkinson and Reisner both in that 21-day practice window. After
what does that mean? Do you know what that means?
I'm assuming they would have to play by the time that window is open. Otherwise, they have to be placed back on IR or something like that. I don't know. And I guess maybe one other significant note is Aaron Jones is not on the injury report. So he's full go.
Well, and he did say that, I don't remember his exact quote after the Lions game, but it was something to the effect that, no, didn't really have an issue with it at all. He said there was, and again, I missed the boat on that. You know me, I'm always looking for tells, and I thought, you don't trade for Cam Akers. That's too much of a coincidence. You decide you need Cam Akers right after your number one running back has to leave a game because of a hip injury, but apparently he was very effective again. He played extremely well against the Motor City Kitties.
And by the way, about 20 hours ago, Kevin Seifert had tweeted, "I will say, while I've been optimistic about the possibility of Hawkinson playing Thursday night, he still has not had a full participation in practice yet since his 21-day window opened." And then now we find out today he's questionable, so maybe he's going to be a game-time decision.
Do we have any indication whatsoever, when did that 21-day window begin? I don't want to put you on the spot, but...
I remember it going through the Rams game, so it's going to be over sometime after the Rams game.
Okay.
I think having the Thursday night game allowed them to...
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see if he plays or not. World Series, this is interesting. I dug this story up earlier this morning when I was doing my extensive show.
That's the funniest thing you've said today.
Thank you very much. World Series, I don't know what number are we at nowadays? How many World Series have there been? Hundreds? Whatever World Series it is, it starts Friday night in Los Angeles. The Dodgers will be hosting the Yankees.
This will be 120.
120. Brian Cashman, tend to be familiar with the name?
Yes.
He's the Yankees general manager. He says the headline of the story says Yankees Brian Cashman issues reminder of Astros cheating, saying World Series drought should have ended in 2017, meaning the Yankees. Well, here's what he says. Stories by R.J. Anderson. This is about 3 or 4 hours ago. New York Yankees will play their first World Series game in 15 years on Friday. At least one involved party, Yankees GM Brian Cashman, is doing his part in the run-up to Game 1 to remind people that New York's World Series drought comes with an asterisk stemming from the Stros sign-stealing scandal. Cashman, on an appearance on MLB Network's High Heat, MLB's High Heat. Strike right, you're out. He says, I hate the 15-year thing because it completely forgets and discounts that some other organization cheated us when we were all the way in the end. If you knew what was going on, I don't think they would be advancing. I think we would have been advancing. I hate the 15-year thing because I don't think it accurately reflects history, but regardless, we're proud to be here where we are now. And if you remember, and I'd forgotten this about it, Tennessee. And where is that, the paragraph? This is the money paragraph as far as I'm concerned. Oh, yeah, here. Cashman was referencing the 2017 American League Championship Series, which the Yankees lost in 7 games. Houston won every home game. This is the trash can beating scandal. I'd forgotten they had won every home game during that set, including a pair of games by a single run. MLB later discovered the Astros have been improperly using technology, both regular season and playoff games, to steal opposition's signs. Stealing signs without technological help has always been an accepted part of the game. But, they were close games. It's not like Houston, and even if they'd won by big margins, you could still say, well, the reason they were in by big margins is because they were cheating. But that series was so close, went right down to the wire, and the Astros won all the home games. I would be bitter. I still thought, I don't remember what your take was, and I don't remember but I thought that title, that World Series title, it should have been stripped. Yeah. You can't do that. Knowing what the pitch was before it comes in, there were several people who said this, ball players and such like that. You give me this, you tell me what pitch is coming, I'll hammer it out of the park every time.
It's a huge advantage.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage. And it's
like playing football, being on defense, knowing what the play is going to be.
Exactly.
And I get they have to study and they sometimes know what the play is coming, but
right.
Before every play, they said, hey, the offense is going to run this ball left here.
Yeah. And, that was the same. Part of that scandal wasn't it? And I don't recall the name. Was it the commissioner of baseball, or was it American League president? Somebody basically said, "Well, it's just a hunk of metal."
Why is Manfred?
Yeah, Manfred. Why is everybody getting so worked up about it? It's just a hunk of metal. Which, of course, there was a chorus of players, rightly so. It said, "Oh, so the trophy we play for." We go to spring training and go through 162 games. You're just saying it's a hunk of metal. Is that all you think it is?
Manfred did not have a good stretch there.
No, he did not have a good stretch there at all. So I would, if I was a Yankee, and it could have happened to a better fan base and team than the Yankees. Sorry, but I'd be bitter too.
Sure,
I'd be just completely annoyed. That seriously, that's how you're going to. And it seemed like most of the players, and one of our guys was part of that club, Correa.
Yes.
And it
was a major part of that club.
It was a major part of that club. And I don't know. I don't remember if there were apologies given or if players fessed up but they cashed the checks. And I think they got their rings. I don't think any of them returned them back and said, here, I don't deserve this. So, so Cashman, and I obviously that's not any fuel to the fire because it wasn't the Dodgers who cheated. It's not like they're facing the Astros. Of course, they couldn't. And it was their American League. But you know what I'm trying to say. It was just he's pointing out. I don't like the this whole storyline that it's been that many years, even though technically it has. Sort of kind of like
Cheryl Reeve will have the same argument.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right because she was very vehement and she said they stole that excrement from us. That's what they did. And that's what she said. Well, she didn't say it quite that way, but you get my drift. And I saw the clip from the who's the coach for the Liberty? What's her name?
I forget her name. But you saw the flopping clip?
Yeah, where she went, well, when they first said, Cheryl Reeves thinks it was, and then she went, she kind of just she just completely dismissed it. It's like, she went, like, what are you talking about? Because, and again, I'm not going to pretend that I watched games 1 through 4, but they felt like games 1 and 4 were stolen from them. So I don't know if their complaints about bad calls were as egregious because the call at the end of the game with the 5 or 6 seconds left, whatever it was, that was to me, and I'm not even being a homer because it doesn't matter enough to me, but that certainly looked like they got that one wrong, and I can see why you feel
they got it wrong, but you still did have overtime.
Yeah.
There's other parts of the game.
Yeah, and your team didn't shoot particularly well, but I can understand the bitterness there. Keyword, Tenneby's got one for us to try to put a grand in your hand.
The Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to put a grand in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword grand at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. The keyword is grand. Enter now, KFAN.com. If Mark Rosen had appeared on the program today, it would be brought to you by your Greater Twin City Honda dealers. Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com. Keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
You know, this idea of the World Series drought, but you need to bring some, what's the word I'm looking for? Not texture to it, but you have to bring some detail. That's still not the word I'm looking for. I know one of my
nuance.
Well, no, not even nuance either. Someone will tell me what the word is. But you've got to bring something or other to it. You know, it's not just how it seems. You have to. The devil's in the details. It's like, well, yeah, but they cheated and advanced to the World Series, and that in large part prevented us from going there. Mm-hmm. We always talk about the Vikings Super Bowl drought. Last time was, 78, 79, 77, whatever that was? Well, I think I don't agree with that because of Bountygate, right? They cheated. They were they were intentionally trying to hurt Favre. So I just think the whole storyline of our Super Bowl drought, it annoys me that they call it a Super Bowl drought when obviously the Saints broke rules. You're not buying it?
Well, no, it reminds me of my
context is the word. You have to have some context.
Yeah, you got to have some context. It reminds me of my boot hockey days, a couple 13, 14 years ago when we were playing in the league at Park Place Sports Bar. Technically, my team never won the championship in the boot hockey league there, but there was one game. We were in the championship. We were up 1 goal with like 20 seconds left, and the other team fires the ball out of play, right? So it should be our ball. But they, in an effort to try to persuade the official, go out and grab the ball quick, run in and just drop the ball without even like giving the official a chance to make a ruling. Let's face it, like the official's making $8 an hour to call this game, right? Like they're not like, so all of a sudden they just started to play and we just have to keep playing. Like we can't wait for an official's ruling there. They end up scoring the tie goal. They won in overtime. They cheated their way to getting that. So you can say I've never won a boot hockey championship, but I would go back just as Cashman would to that game where we were rigged. We were jobbed. They cheated.
Well, I'm surprised you've not recanted this tale before. Maybe you have, and I was just not listening, waiting for my turn to talk, because the same thing happened at Coon Rapids Snowflake Days boot hockey tournament. I've told you about it. It was our first game or our second game. I'm goaltender. It's late. We're up like 2-1. Now, Kennedy Park guy's brother guy is the guy running the tournament, so he's a friend, and he's also reffing our game, right? So what happened was we were up 1 late in the game, and then we're just kind of confirming the score, and they go, oh, no, it's tied. Well, we were up, but they said we were tied, so we said, well, yeah, well, it's a tie game. That's what the ref went with. Then we had a guy, I can't remember his first name. His last name was Scheid. He played at the University of Wisconsin. It was a hockey. We had a ringer on the team. I think he may have passed away. And if he's still alive, I apologize, but I think he passed away. Anyways, out in front of the net, seconds to go in the game, right? He sprawled out on his belly, almost the Gordie Howe or the Bobby Orr shot. You know, that famous picture of Bobby Orr? You know,
he's flying in the air, basically.
Flying in the air.
He's horizontal.
Well, Scheid was the same, except he was on the ice, and he with his stick flat on the ice, he hit the ball and it went in, which would have given us the win. But what happened was the other team, the opposition team that we were playing, and the team waiting to play that were watching from the side were buddies of those guys. They play in the same league.
Yep.
They go, nope, it didn't beat the buzzer because it was right at the buzzer. It beat the buzzer, but of course, Kennedy Park guy's brother guy, he's looking at a stopwatch.
Yep.
And he can't look at the goal at the same time. So what does he do? He goes again, well, everybody's saying it wasn't. So we actually should have won the game by 2 goals. Now it's time we go into OT. And then here's the mistake we made.
I have a question, though.
What's that?
If they could hear the buzzer, was he ringing the buzzer after he hit the stopwatch? That's what you're saying? So he was looking at the stopwatch and then he hit the buzzer when it hit 0.
I don't know if he hit a buzzer, but just said game or whatever.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
So now in a game we should have won by 2 because we were already up 1 and we scored just before the buzzer. We did. I have no reason to make it up. So it should have been 3-1. Now it's 1-1. And then the mistake we made is we agreed with the rules for, we're doing a shootout to decide the winner. They took their 5 shots in a row on me. There wasn't like we take a shot, you take a shot.
Which is weird.
Well, of course, and there is, I guess you could say if I stopped them all, it's a disadvantage to them, but I let in, I think, 2 or 3, actually. I was like a sieve, right?
Well, that ain't bad.
No. So now it's like, when we know how many we have to get, we had to get like 3 and we didn't score, we lost. And so then we have to try to go up the back way because it's double elimination. Well, you know what happens there. You got to play like 9 games in a row.
Yeah.
Here's excuse computer. We won 2, but then we got to play another one right away and we're pretty spent, especially, how tiring boot hockey is.
It's very tiring.
Because you're running on boots on ice, right? Goaltender doesn't get too tired. That's why I like playing goalie because I didn't have to run around on the ice. And we lost. So I felt like Cashman
You and I both feel like Cashman.
Yes.
Yeah. We both should have won boot hockey championships.
So then what we did, and for the following year, we wanted, and this was probably unfair, we said, well, we want to play an easy opponent the first game. So we convinced Culture Vulture, Dubé, to put together a team, right? And he brought a team, and they were awful. And we played them in that first game. We won like 24-6. But the beauty of it was I've never seen Culture Vulture was stood on his head for the first 10 or 12 minutes of the game. We couldn't score on him. He stopped like 8. He stopped 13, 14 shots standing on his head. But you can only do that for so long. And then the floodgates just opened up. And it didn't help us anyways. We lost the last 2 games. That win, and we retired. Pointing fingers at each other, a lot of dissension on the club. Oh, yeah, we've never played again. Well, we played then after that, but not in tournaments. We would just play, in backyard pond hockey. But we never played at an organized tournament ever. And I think we were the greatest boot hockey team to never win a championship. And we got robbed of ours, and we both did. So I'm glad there's someone, you understand where I'm coming from then. You share the pain.
Yes.
That I have.
I understand Cashman.
Here's what I want to do. I want to take a break when we come back. Vikings tomorrow. We'll talk a lot about the Vikings tomorrow because the game is tomorrow. It's a Thursday night football game.
It's huge.
It's a huge game, and a lot of people are talking about it. We'll talk about it extensively tomorrow as well. But when we come back, there's some Rams chatter going on. We'll talk about that. Last segment of the program. Let's go ahead and what do we want to do with the Wild tickets? Do we want to just give them? Did you find a nickname for the line of Kaprizov, Rossi, and Zooks?
I don't have one I love. If I had to pick one, I might play off of. I kind of like the one called them the Electricians because we play at XL Energy Center and then they light the lamp all the time.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I also saw one that said like Electric Company.
Well, what do you want to do?
I think maybe we should just do a caller 11.
Let's go ahead and do caller 11 then. Sorry about that, folks.
But I prefer Kara to be in here for her to do it.
Yeah, where is she?
I don't know where she went. She's always got stuff she's being ordered around to do.
Well, do you want to do it? Or?
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah,
all right, let's
I'll
go
do
ahead. We're excited to give away a pair of tickets. It's a Wild game. It's a Wild Wednesday brought to you by Jim Beam. And of course, for those of you that don't know, you will know now. Jim Beam is the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. They want to send you to an upcoming Wild game. Caller 11 wins a pair of tickets to see the Wild take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's slated for November 14th. Be the 11th caller at 1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. 11th caller wins tickets to see the Wild host the Blue Jackets. Courtesy of Jim Beam, the Wild, and all of us here at The Fan. Level 13-14 pass. Sorry. You needed to clear my throat there. Sorry. Common Man program on The Fan. I'm Common. He's Teneby. Kara is here as well. Couple of things. First of all, here's a text message that came in to the Brad Sean Bryant KFAN text line. It says, can you wear broom ball shoes in boot hockey? The answer is no. Maybe in some leagues they do. Maybe in some tournaments they do. But Teneby, when we played, you could not. You could wear You could not wear skates, and you could not wear broom ball shoes. Whatever else you
No, we
wanted
were wearing
to wear.
broom ball shoes.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not boot hockey then.
Well,
It's not.
still hockey that's not on skates.
But it's not. But broom ball shoes, they're called broom ball shoes, not broom ball boots. So technically, it's
Sure.
not. It's not boot hockey. But anyway, and several people did text me, and I appreciate it. Jim Scheid was the former Badger hockey player, and he did pass away in 2015 at the age of 57 from cancer. And I just quickly Googled his name, and he did win a national championship with Wisconsin in 1977. So we had a guy who won a natty as a ringer on our club, and he scored the goal at the buzzer. It was like the greatest goal you ever saw. We're playing tennis ball, and the stick's just flat. So it was like with the handle is how he knocked it in. And it was brilliant. It was like it was an electrifying moment, and then we were jobbed. And I'll never forget it. I cried myself to sleep that night, devastated that what was so rightfully ours, that a possibility. And Teneby, there's a lot of championships you can win. There's the Cup,
Yep.
the Lombardo Trophy, the Naismith, but Coon Rapids Winter Carnival, boot hockey trophy.
It's as good as it gets.
It's pretty big.
It's legendary.
It's legendary. I wonder if they still do the Coon Rapids Winter Carnival boot hockey tournament. If they do, Teneby, would you want to form a team? Maybe me, you, and a couple of other guys?
I'm a little past my prime.
Oh, come on. If you do play, just one thing, please don't have a pastry before we play. Because as we know, if you eat anything that's heavy or sweet,
I can feel it.
You can feel it, and it hinders your performance. Vikings.
I don't know if my hip flexors could hold up to boot hockey anymore. It is very, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it puts a lot of pressure on your hip flexors and your groin muscles.
It's very, it'll
taxing.
It's very taxing. That is a great way to say it. Vikings travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. And there was a trade made today. The Kansas City Chiefs traded for, who did they trade for again? DeAndre Hopkins, who leaves the Titans and will now be playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. These rumors have been going around, and they've been addressed with Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp trade rumors. Rams star wide receiver addresses the speculation before the deadline. Matthew Stafford also weighs in. Here's what Kupp said. He's keeping an even-keeled approach to the situation. Here's what he said. I'm aware of it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be where my feet are. I kind of like that. Almost sounds like a country and western song, doesn't it? You know, I'm not sure where I'm going to be, but where I'll be is where my feet are. You know, I'm aware of it. But
probably in a truck.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to be where my feet are. That's all I know. I have a job to do here, and I take a lot of pride in giving everything I can for the guys in this building. This is so cliche, and I just love it. In the building and being able to step on the field knowing that I prepare the best that I can. And for 7.5 years, I've been an LA Ram, and I've taken that approach every single day. And whatever happens outside of that, I got no control. I've got to control what I can control, and right now that means being the best LA Ram that I can be. That's emotional. I know I'm touched by it. Here's what Matty Stafford had to say. I'm a fan of the league, so you hear those things. To be honest, we are pro athletes. We're professional football players. We've dealt with this kind of stuff before, and we understand it comes with the territory. Don't put much into it because that's a disservice to what we've got going on here. We've got a short week and a really good opponent to try to prepare for. That's our full focus. I know that's where Kupp stays too. I don't worry much about that stuff, which is kind of the cliched answers you would expect. I don't expect a player to come out and say, oh, they want to trade me, huh? If you want to trade me, fine, I'll go somewhere else. Or, hey, maybe people want me, I'll go, I'm a mercenary. I'll go wherever I want. You kind of do the team first, preparing for that. But again, in those pro sports professions, every time trade deadlines approach, there's always names being rumored, and so I guess you do have to kind of that is the probably the only way you can really approach it. It's like, well, right now I'm here, and if they call me into the office and say I've been traded, well, I'll get on a plane and I'll go. What I'd like to know, and he's never going to say, would you like to be traded? Because, I mean, there are situations where it just happened it happened all over big league baseball. It happens every year in every sport where you go from a team that's a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans and a terrible stadium, but you're a good player on that team, and a team that has title aspirations and that's in the hunt decides this guy could help us. So they make the call, the trade's made, and yeah, I mean, if you're Cooper Kupp, would you rather stay with the Rams, or would you rather get traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, or a team that's got a realistic chance of making postseason play?
Chiefs would have been a good step for him.
That'd have been great, you know. So again, and I know publicly they're not going to say that. I wonder how many guys, I bet most would say, unless you really have a tie to that city or think what's going on there is temporary, that your team is, because you would think the Rams, I guess I'm talking out of you know what, because I don't know, with Donald gone, I don't know if their defense is any good anymore. This 2-4 record, has it been some misfortune? Are they better than the record?
Well, their misfortune has been Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua have been hurt for the vast majority of it. So if those two are healthy, and it sounds like Cooper Kupp will be healthy for tomorrow night's game, at least they'll get him back. I think I also saw that Puka Nacua is making some progress too now. Not that he'll play, but if you had those two, I don't know if that's a 2-4 team anymore.
Right. And so then would he rather... I
mean, they were pretty competitive against your Lions in week 1, were they not?
Yes, they were. It went right down to the wire. Yeah, that was a game in which it was dicey for the Kitties. That's for sure. So,
but I understand long term for the Rams, Cooper Kupp's making a decent amount of money. He's how many years in a row now has it been where he's not on the field half the time?
Right.
Or missing so much. And you have a logical replacement in Puka Nacua to be your number one wide receiver moving forward. But because of his injury stuff and his salary, I don't know how many teams are going to give up a ton for him. Right? So it might just get to the point where like, well, you're not going to give us enough in draft equity to trade him, so we'll just stay with him and see if we can do something this year still.
Somebody says, sends a text that says, the Chiefs, and I don't know if this is accurate, just going with what the text says, the Chiefs tried to trade for Kupp before Hopkins but couldn't reach a deal. Do we know? Do we have any indication? Is there any truth to that?
Well, I'd heard that as well, and I think a lot of it was the Chiefs needed a team that was willing to keep some of the salary.
Oh, right.
For cap reasons. And I'm also guessing, the conditional fifth you gave for DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp would have been more expensive from a price standpoint.
You're getting ripped. Common, you can tell Tennessee didn't grow up around here. Real boot hockey players know that broom ball shoes are the same as cheating. Signed, Jimmy. I think Jimmy's right.
It's not cheating if everyone's got broom ball shoes on. But.
Right, but I still, I tend to agree. You didn't grow up around here, Tennessee. We were boot hockey guys. You wear boots. NHL power rankings. List radio, lazy radio, lazy. How can you be 6-0-0 and not be ranked the top team in hockey? You're 6-0. You're the only undefeated team in pro football. How are you not the best team in pro football? Apparently, the Chiefs aren't. A lot of people think the Lions
because none of these power rankings actually have any substance to them. It's just to try to they want to get attention so people will click on their link.
Rangers at number 1. They're 5-1-1. They're undefeated.
I mean, they're pretty good.
Rangers at number 1. Winnipeg Jets at number 2. So you'd expect the Wild, right? 4-0-2.
Yeah. Are these new as of today?
Yes.
So it's including last night's game? Okay.
360 minutes without trailing. We've not trailed in regulation yet. You'd expect that, well, they got to be third, right? Not a chance. The Dallas Stars, who are 5-2-0. How does that even make any sense? They're the number 4, the number 3 ranked team. So then you're thinking, Teneby, well, at 4, then the Wild have to be the 4th best team in pro hockey.
Sure.
We got the best line, and we got the electric company. Is that what we called their?
We got the electricians.
We got the electricians. They light up the lamp they light up the lamp at the fuse box. No. Nope.
So now the Wild, if the nickname catches on,
yep,
they do those not weird Wild commercials. So they need to get the 3 of them dressed up as electricians, going into somebody's house and passing the cord snipper to each other, and then the other one snips it.
Yeah,
here
and then all of a sudden the lights start. Yeah. I like it, Teneby.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's wild.
It's really good. So you'd expect them to be at number 4, right?
Well, yeah, obviously 4-0-2, and they've never trailed in regulation.
A 5-3-1 team. They've lost 3 times at number 4. The New Jersey Devils. How are the New Jersey Devils ranked higher than the undefeated Minnesota Wild?
Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
East Coast bias.
So now you're thinking, well, okay, I guess top 5, hard to argue. You think they're the 5th best team in the CBS Sports power rankings? Not a chance, then to be the Vancouver Canucks.
Huh?
At 3-1-2. What do you know about the Canucks? You know anything about them?
I have not been following the rest of the league so super closely so far this year, but they had a very good year last year.
Okay.
Which is maybe playing into some of these power rankings right now as they're including equity going into the season and combining it with their early start.
Which I would never do. Oh, wait. That was half my argument for the Chiefs. 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, undefeated. Gee, wonder if they're not the best team in pro football. So then you're thinking, Teneby, well, okay, enough of this nonsense. The 6th spot must say Wild. It does not, Teneby. The 6th spot says the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You've got to be kidding me.
At 4-2-0, the Lightning.
That's who we play tomorrow night. So
yeah. Then finally, the Wild do check in at number 7. And then something called the Hockey Club. What the hell is that? The Hockey Club is at number 8.
The Hockey Club.
Now, were they any good when they were in Phoenix the last year? I know they didn't have any fans. They were playing in weren't they playing in somebody's garage? They just took a garden hose and just froze they
were playing where Arizona State plays their game in front of a 5,000 seat capacity crowd.
Was their team any good?
I feel like I'm trying to remember what they did last year. I feel like they were decent for most of the year, but maybe struggled towards the end and didn't make the playoffs. But they haven't been good in a while.
Well, they're awfully good now. They're number 8. It must feel like pinch me. If you live in Salt Lake, it's like pinch me. This must be a dream. We get a pro hockey team. We got one of the best in the league. Number 8 in the power rankings. That's a gift. That's manna from heaven to be number 8. And then after the Hockey Club, it's the Hurricanes at number 9, and then the Golden Knights at number 10. So that's your what do you think? The worst team in hockey, Teneby, who is it?
The worst team in hockey?
Yeah, ranked number 32 in the pop.
I'm assuming we still have Chicago and San Jose or Columbus.
The Sharks, they are at the rock bottom. They are 0-5-2. They've yet to win a game. They've got some very good young talent. Do they?
Well, I mean, because they've been bottoming out here for a couple of years. They had the number 1 pick last year. They drafted Will Smith, who I really liked from the United States under-17 club. So I think they're in that 4 or 5 years out track where they should be making that jump up then. But
Broad Street Bullies,
they're going to take their hits for a while.
Broad Street Bullies at 31. That's what they used to be called. Philadelphia back in the mid-70s when they were really good. Have they been very good? I
haven't even seen is Chuck Fletcher still the GM there?
They're 1-4-1. They're struggling. They actually dropped 4 spots. They can't drop much further. They're 31 out of 32 teams. Then how are the Blackhawks at number 30? How the mighty have fallen. Whatever happened to Toes?
Daniel Briere is the
Whatever happened to Toes and Kane? with the Blackhawks. Is that Aragon?
Well, they
Is
got
that
Bedard. Year 2 of Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
But they still don't have they don't have a whole lot working around him.
When will Bedard want out?
But, well, didn't you see the rumors this summer that Kaprizov might be an option there? That'll change things in Chicago.
How about Bedard an option for here?
We'd take him. I don't think they'll give him up, but
I don't think he'd be a good fit here. Do you? I mean, hey, look, we got
Rossi.
Right. We got a great line already. We got a line. You've seen the numbers they put up. I just don't think he'd be a great fit here.
I always love
Connor McDavid. I know he's got a lot of talent. I think he's a little overrated, but I know people like him. I just don't think he'd be a fit here in Minnesota. I really don't. Where would we skate him? He'd be fourth line here, the way we're playing right now, 4-0-2. So there's your power rankings. I must admit, Timmy, I started.
Well, right now we're a defensive juggernaut.
Right,
we've given up 12 goals in 6 games.
Well, that's.
You can win a lot of hockey games doing that.
Yes, well, the beauty of it is if you have one line that's really, I mean, you need more than one line, but if you have one line that's off to a start like this, and if it can continue, and you got a goaltender who's been, is he right now ranking wise?
He has to be.
Yeah, he's the best goaltender in the league, right? So when you got that going for you, it's fun. It's fun. And you know, we started the entire show. I chided. Just having fun, chided you, Russo, Gorg, Micheletti, and Fallness for, you know, all this. Well, you know, it's going to be a while yet. We got this. We still have the specter of the Suter-Parisi contracts hovering over us. So you kind of think, well, we got to wait one more year. And again, it's early. I get it. I know we're on pace to not lose a game in regulation. But it's nice to get off to a nice start. It's at least it leaves you with some expectations where it's like, oh, okay. It's sort of like we talked about with the Vikings. If the Vikings were 1-5 right now, would you really care that much about them? I mean, you still pay attention to them because it's what we do for a living. But it'd be like, oh man, I mean, is it really even worth? You know, the excitement's not there like it was last week, and even tomorrow. Can we bounce back and win a game and get back on the winning track? Keep pace with Detroit, who will probably win against Tennessee. Green Bay's right there, half game out, right? And the Bears are surprising. So it's fun when you're
a couple days away though from the Vikings being like third or fourth in the division all of a sudden.
It could be
if you don't win tomorrow night.
But that's what makes it fun is having your team in contention. There's nothing worse than so. It's nice to see the Wild get off to the start like that. We talked Wolves earlier, and again, it is only one game, but that was street clothes just dominated. It didn't matter. Gobert couldn't stop him. Naz Reid couldn't stop him. Your mama couldn't stop him. Your daddy couldn't stop him. The police couldn't stop him. He was just dominant last night. 30, I think it was 36, something like that. Something like 16 boards, 3 or 4 assists, a couple of blocks, I think. The guy was, when he plays like that, that's why they call him street clothes, because he's hurt so much. When he plays like that, he's hard to contain, hard to beat. So, but we'll bounce back. It's early, Tennessee. It's only the first game of the season.
Like I said, 2 years ago they started off 5-8, and
that's exactly
they still made the playoffs, and we're all right.
That's exactly right. So, Wild, we gave away the tickets.
Yep.
Next up for the Wild is
they got Tampa Bay. So they're on like a 7-game road trip with a little break in between. But they're in Florida. They've been in Florida like the last 3-4 days because they had the Panthers last night and Tampa Bay tomorrow night.
Very good. Any fan line or anything? How do you do fan line anymore?
I'm not doing fan line now.
Yeah. How many years have you not been doing that now?
I think maybe last year or two I was still doing a couple, but yeah.
You've grown out of that?
I mean, I'm a squirt hockey coach now, so.
Yeah, boy, that's right. You got your own team to worry about. You can't worry about the Wild. You got your own club to worry about. Well, good luck. How is your team doing?
We haven't played any games yet. We've had like a week and a half of practices.
How many?
I like the squad.
How many teams are in your league?
I'm not really sure. We just got our game schedule today. I haven't even had a chance to look at it.
Will we have a preseason power ranking? Why don't you put together...
The power rankings in District 2 is the standings. That's how we do it.
Is this Pee-wee, did you say?
Squirts.
Squirts? Could we do Squirts power? Power rankings. I think we should. Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon on a Vikings Thursday. Oh, Kara, thanks. Nice to see you. Thanks for your help today. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket, JG. They're next, right here on The Fan.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota!
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.